I want to see an offense devised around Justin Fields.
Looking around the league at the quarterbacks who did not work out that are now working out, Ryan Tannehill comes to mind in Nashville. He's a great example of how Tannehill in Tennessee works. Carr and Gruden, that seems to be working to this point, surprisingly so.
Terrific so far.
But so far, through 2 games, he's 200 yards shy of 1,000 yards passing in that offense. They're 2-0. It wasn't easy in the first half, but it's not an easy league. We can pinpoint problems with any offense, but Carr and Gruden seem to be working right now. Kyler Murray and Kingsbury seem to be working right now at a high pace, a great pace for that offense. So in just looking around the league and looking at the excuse making for the young quarterbacks, and sometimes sometimes they're not. Do we have a coaching problem or a quarterback problem in the NFL? Because far too often, these quarterback quote-unquote gurus get a rookie that doesn't pan out, and far too often it goes to, the guy's young, he's inexperienced, and before you know it, it's year 3 and the coach is out the door and the quarterback has a new head coach learning a new offense, and guess what? There's the next excuse. He had to switch coordinators and he's in a new offense. It's going to take some time. And before you know it, the contract's up. And then you end up with a Jameis Winston-like scenario. Is it more on the coach or the quarterback as you scan the league and think why guys aren't working? If Trevor Lawrence doesn't pan out in Jacksonville, is that on Trevor Lawrence or is that on coaching malpractice that's going on based on coaches that knew who they were inheriting when they took the job?
Well, I think it's a situation-by-situation basis most of the time. If Trevor Lawrence, we know, is really, really good, there's a huge consensus. So if he doesn't work out, I'm going to be more prone to put it on Urban Meyer and his offensive staff.
But let me flip it, though.
I'm not confident that Justin Fields is going to be great.
But he should be. The Bears drafted him. It's like saying, we didn't know Vince Young was going to suck.
Well, do you think Ryan Pace is great?
Fit an offense to fit your quarterback. It's like trying to squid a square peg into a round hole. I don't understand this. He's not ready to play in this offense. Fit your offense to the quarterback and go win.
That. I agree with that. Fit your offense to the quarterback.
You drafted him.
But he is limited at the beginning, and some guys need more time to grow into a second read.
This is not Vrabel inheriting Marcus Mariota. This is you just drafted him 6 months ago, and now he's the starter. So there should be no excuses. Fit the offense to make it work.
In this case, we know that Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy are not very good. So in this case,
but that's not true. Matt Nagy, across the mouths,
coordinator.
Across the mouths of all NFL media, he's some quarterback savant.
No, I think that's faded, and he might be a quarterback
savant. It's faded because he sucked
as a coordinator. But he might. I think
because
he's one of these guys who's a good coordinator, not a good head coach.
But it's faded. But he got blamed. The quarterbacks that have been through Chicago have been receiving the blame.
Well, also Chicago has a history of no matter who the coach is, the quarterback just doesn't pan out.
I agree.
It's a snake bit situation.
I think Jameis Winston's a great case study in this idea, Hutton, about coach versus quarterback and who's to blame and who's the failure. We're going to know Jameis Winston was failed by coaching in Tampa Bay if Sean Payton can take Jameis Winston and have success with him.
Yep.
And they can have a great offense. And we know Sean Payton's a great quarterback coach.
But he had Bruce Arians also, who's a good quarterback coach.
Bruce Arians can screw up too. I mean, Bruce Arians can be set in his ways. Bruce Arians could be trying to force Jameis Winston to do something he can't do. And if all of the rules are set up for quarterbacks and offenses to succeed, which they are, I'll point to Ryan Tannehill as an example too. Miami screwed it up.
Well, he had a terrible coach there. We know Adam Gase is terrible.
Well, we know
Adam Gase endorsed by Peyton Manning.
We know that now, but again, you're going to go back to the Nagy example. I mean, he was thought of as this quarterback guru because of Peyton Manning, and then he went there and so.
But Adam
coaches
Gase
can do
did
bad
what
jobs
Peyton
in different
Manning
places.
Wants.
Well,
that's what it takes to be a great coach.
Here's what I don't
Manning.
get. Okay, this is where I think the NFL lacks a bit in the coaching department. When you talk college football, the biggest thing that you hear from coaches that have success offensively, Dan Mullen's a good example. I can take a pocket passer like Kyle Trask and throw for a bunch of yards and score, or I can take two guys who can't even pass,
right,
like Emory Jones and Anthony Richardson, and I can move the ball that way. The Ravens are a good example right now. Lamar Jackson still is not a great passer, but you know what they're doing? They're running all over people,
and that's why
with
they drafted
fourth
him.
and fifth string running backs also.
They drafted him and then made their offense fit his skill set.
That's where if the rules are set up for offenses to succeed, I want to see teams like the Bears and their coaches devise an offense, not that they're comfortable with, that they've done in the past with different guys like Alex Smith or whatever quarterbacks they've worked with in the past. I want to see an offense devised around Justin Fields and what he does well. I think NFL coaches are behind on this.
I just don't see. It's true that what they're telling us in Chicago is that this preseason, the offseason, Fields was not ready to run that offense. Otherwise, Andy Dalton would have been named the starter from the jump, and we would have seen the rookie playing early and often for that organization, especially with the history they've had at quarterback. My point is, now that he's the guy, don't even mention Nick Foles unless Fields gets hurt to come in and run your offense. Make your offense work for Justin Fields right now, and make it work. If you buy into what I'm saying, and I know even if you don't, part of it is the reason you go with the veteran until you don't need the veteran anymore. Then you turn things over to the young guy and build around him, and you go on a nice run, and you get extended for a year or two as the coach. My point is, make it work and get extended for a year or two as the coach.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified every time Outkick 360 goes live. We are live weekdays, 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern, right here across the Outkick network. And while you're at it, like this video and let us know what you think in the comments below.